因为之前春季赛就是2场比赛都输给老干爹了嘛。那个时候其实就是每次输给他们的时候，我们队伍都是会爆发一些矛盾吧，因为他们就不是特别强的队伍嘛，然后就对于输给他们对我们的信心打击会比较大。然后呢，这次在我们的主场作战，这样他们来的话就会好好招待他们的。
Oh, Xiaohu, bringing out the spicy call. Welcome to Beijing. We hope you enjoy your stay. Also, how about a 2-0 defeat at the hands of the best team in the world right now, RNG, looking like fire in that game 1.
Yeah, and just straight up served. LGD, they had a very clear-cut strategy going in. I like the fact that they prioritized the Lucian. They knew that they weren't on blue side. This time around, though, RNG will be on the red side. So let's see if LGD try to grab that priority pick. But there are also some substitutions coming in.
There absolutely are. We've got Karsa coming in for the jungle, and also more importantly, Abel coming in for the, I'm not going to call it 80, the marksman position.
It's the bot.
The bottom lane.
Yeah, don't assume my
role.
role.
The 4th role of League of Legends. But you can see Karsa making his way on stage. The coach, of course, cheering him on. He had an exceptional outplay on the Xin Zhao when we saw him last night. He's still playing at the peak of his mechanical ability.
And it's I'm actually going to quote Clement here, and he said that Karsa right now is playing well above and beyond what he showcased in the LMS. Now, right now on your screen, though, playing above and beyond what we expect of him is going to be Abel. Sitting behind Uzi, it's hard. If Uzi is the king, Abel is the prince. And you haven't seen this guy. He was reported by FLICKR for scripting.
Yes.
Now, he wasn't scripting, he's just that damn good. And I can't think of a higher compliment than to be told that you're cheating at the game, you're so good.
By the best player in the history of the game itself. Definitely a big statement, but now we're getting the chance to see him on Royal Never Give Up. And like you said, Uzi has been the prince of the LPL so long. Only recently has he attained the crown and truly become the king of the LPL, the king of the world right now. But like you said, the king casts a big shadow, and Abel is going to have to show us some real fancy play if he wants to try to outclass the best.
And what's really cool is that when we saw RNG in the Demacia Cup, it wasn't Uzi, it was Abel. Now, Uzi does have problems with his back, so if the team can give him time to rest, he'll take it, which is why we saw Abel throughout Demacia Cup. And they were playing those Yasuo melee bruiser bot lanes. So RNG already had a read on the 8-11 meta before anyone else was playing, and Abel is the guy that will go and grab those types of picks. So there's actually now strategy on this patch between playing the king and the prince.
And it certainly creates an even scarier situation for LGD on the opposite side, when suddenly you're looking across, oh, the best bottom lane in the world, what are we going to do? Oh no, now they swapped out the king for somebody who knows the patch even better than the king.
But you don't need the king if you've got the one true support. Ming is a god right now. I think he's actually ascended past Mako's level.
What's a king to a god?
Nothing.
Ming exactly.
is the actual carry here. His performance last game was just beautiful to watch. I don't suspect that we're going to get a traditional ADC support bot lane out of Abel because, again, he was the guy that took the Yasuo, one of the first players in the world to do it on a competitive stage. 8-10 meta, so not quite the 8-11 Yakety Sax, but right up there.
Yeah, certainly still very close. And of course, with Karsa coming in, that also opens a little bit more different communication between Zatai and Xiaohu. We were actually expecting.
We're having some struggles.
He really is.
Okay,
the coach just helping him get his hair all propped up correctly.
You know what? This is true coaching technique. Heart isn't just there for the draft or the morale. You gotta. It's the fine details, Dom. You gotta make sure that your players can see the game. Get him his headband. Make sure he's comfortable. Rub his shoulders. Come on, Heart. Yeah, give him a good one
there
too.
There he goes. Headset. Looking a little bit big there.
Look at the ginger caress.
Yes.
Heart has it all.
P-Whale's over here like, what's taking so long? We're ready to play some League of Legends.
He turns around, looks at his coach. Why don't you ever do that for me?
Jing Dong coach on the other side is, I've literally just met you.
Who are you?
Yeah. Zatai is also ready to try and follow through for the closing out of this series, because now that RNG have the momentum,
you just
they
sold
get the chance.
LGD down the river.
Well, no, they've got the chance to try out this new bottom lane player of Abel. Give him more stage time, because like you said, if Abel is the prince, Uzi is the king. However, can you try to get stage time behind that? We've already seen that happen with Audi and Amazing J from BLG, with Audi being sub behind Amazing J for the entirety of the spring split and not seeing a single game played. But Abel, we're already seeing him on stage here. We saw him in the beginning of spring. Xiaohu is in the zone right there.
You know what's great is that if Uzi's the king and Abel's the prince, guess who the jester is?
Who?
Come on, really? Twitch chat's just spamming MLXG right now.
Oh, man. There it is. Are we just going to assign card roll, what is this, royalty to all of the different members of the RNG lineup?
It's some metaphors are just too easy right now. As you can see, LGD, I think we're about to get into it. Usually it goes coach shot, head-to-head into champion select.
Once we see the two coaches side by side, that's the big indicator.
Uh-oh, we went back to the crowd.
Yeah, the massive Xiaohu signs as he's looking for this. Xiaohu didn't exactly have a spectacular performance last night. He appears to be trying to make it up today. That Zoe outplay that he was able to get to find the kill onto Amy certainly shows him playing at his ability right now.
I mean, the thing about Xiaohu is that he really underperformed pretty much the entirety of spring, which is so crazy because in summer of 2017, he was hot fire. Like, this guy was top of his game, and he's kind of the last remaining piece. We call RNG the super team. We've got 2 super teams in the LPL. We're that lucky. We got Invictus Gaming and RNG because the sheer caliber of talent on the roster. Now, if Xiaohu can get back to his summer 2017 performance, I don't think there's anyone that stands in RNG's way in terms of pound-for-pound talent in every single position. But right now, Xiaohu's still kind of struggling. The little tiger, maybe in hibernation, trying to wake up, still a little bit sleepy.
We're looking for it. Again, there were a lot of questions for Xiaohu as we got closer towards the end of the split. Would this be it? Would this actually be RNG going to finals? And you can only imagine the blow that has as he ends up dropping down. Coach Hart fans.
You got a sign?
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
get that beautiful man. No, okay. Fun fact about Coach Hart, now that every time you see him, he wears the same tie and shirt and jacket every single time. He never changes it up. Over in the EULCS, they got the beautiful Yamato cannon. He's got so many different outfits. It's like a fashion show every single time.
That being said, don't tell me you've never had that period of your life where you've just found that one outfit that works, and you're like, I'm going to buy 7 of these shirts and 7 of these pants.
It's not a pink tie and a white shirt, Tom. Like, get some
But that
flavor.
could be it. Maybe that's where he's at in his life, where he's just reached that period of coaching, and he just wants to make sure that he always looks fly.
But what's so funny is that when you watch them traveling, Hart has just the most extravagant, over-the-top outfits where he'll just wear all RNG gear. Just from head to toe. So when we were traveling to Chengdu, I was standing behind a guy just decked out in RNG. I'm like, oh, a fan. Oh, God, that's the coach.
That's actually, oh boy, that's Coach Hart.
Yeah, through and through. His
again,
Chinese on point.
We do have to give you a quick update. We apologize for the delay getting all the players into Champion Select. We're trying to make sure we've got the computers all set up for Abel and Carson coming into this. I was going to say,
Abel probably got lost. He couldn't see the screen. His hair was in his eyes.
That's the thing. His hair doesn't even go down to his eyes. It stops at about his eyebrows. Maybe it's a comfort thing. Again, play wherever you're most comfortable. But now LGD, we're about ready. If I'm judging the camera shots correctly,
some intense shaking.
We might be getting into this as the coaches slide in
there
head-to-head. As you said, RNG on the red side, LGD on the blue. We have entered picks and bans. And look at that, LGD, they've left Lucian open in favor of banning away the Zoe and the Tom Kench. RNG will ban away Nocturne and Answer, but that means Lucian is wide open.
But it is not the king, it's the prince. So they're taking a gamble here.
You're exactly right.
Abel is not the same caliber of Lucian player that Uzi is. And they understand who the true carry is. They're like, cripple Ming, get him off the Tom Kench. I don't want to see it. That is a Rise priority pick.
It really is.
Oh, I'm tilted.
Very early rotation on the Rise. With Vladimir open, with Lucian open, so many champions. RNG are now confused. You can see Xiaohu's like, wait, what do I take into this?
Now, the thing is that normally if Zoe's left open, you can go for the Rise there because Rise can try to survive the Zoe burst, but more importantly, he can have kill pressure because when she comes forward, he just snares her. Normally when you see a Rise priority pick, and it is very rare in the LPL to see it because we do not flex the champion. I think it's been played top twice in the LPL, mostly by Snake, so I don't expect LGD to do so here. But for me, it's just like Rise doesn't have the flex opportunity. His ultimate and the changes there means he's not as powerful as he once was in terms of playing a side lane. It's basically, we're going to hard camp the mid lane, and then with the kill pressure of the hard camp, hopefully we can snowball our jungler. So for me, the Rise priority pick tells me that it's going to be a big, heavy-hitting jungler, something like a Xin Zhao or a Graves.
Well, there's the Xin hover from Amy, but Camille massive priority globally, 85% presence rate behind only Talia, Zoe, and Aurelia, locked in for RNG along with that Rakan.
And of course they were going to snag up the Camille because MLXG and Karsa both played in the jungle. It can be flexed into the top lane, but it's also, again, you see the rise, the hard camp potential there of having that lockable CC. They want to take away Camille, and in the LPL, if Nocturne's banned, Camille is the #2 go-to.
And now that means Singed is locked in for LGD, likely going to Jinnu up top as RNG are set to round themselves out. They've already got massive engage, massive scuttle crab control, massive early game with 2 champions. They're already sitting comfortably in this meta. And now Mundo locked in for Zatai. We got a chance earlier today to see that interaction. Singed versus Mundo. Singed just flings Mundo once and Mundo says, "Whee!" And that's it.
And then they just start proxy farming each other. It's awful to watch.
But now we're looking to see how RNG decide to continue to limit LGD's composition again. That Xin is capable of carrying if Amy has the support of his team. But now we're backing out of this as we're looking for the next ban. Alistar taken away from LGD. Vladimir will be banned from RNG.
Oh, camera guy just really threw you to a loop.
Really wanted to, yeah.
He's like, you want to see this ban? Nah, you want to see the stadium.
But look at how cool this screen is, though.
What I also love is that each stadium's starting to have its own unique flavor in terms of not just the visuals, but the music. You know,
oh yeah.
Xi'an, they've got the killer drums when they come into the game, and then right now you got the WWE cage match between RNG, and then just like hard rock and champion select.
Oh yeah. I mean, at this point, when you've already got the belt, why not just throw everyone else into the cage with you and see how they can survive? Will anyone be able to claim the belt from RNG? Outside of Jingdong finding their first victory just yesterday, but now with Swain banned away, Abel.
You know what he's missing?
What?
Napkins. Just right underneath
the ears. For the ear sweat. So very important to make sure that you're comfortable getting on stage, especially for your first game of the LPL 2018 summer. We know he's got the mechanical skills. We're looking to see how he grows into a team player with RNG, because that will be what defines his career, not his outplays.
We're also trying to see what he's going to pick here. So right now with the composition, they've got a jungler, they have a top laner, now they have a signature pick for Xiaohu. Is this going to be a traditional ADC, or is he going to grab the Yasuo because it has skated through bans?
It certainly has. LGD, they could be looking for that themselves. We've already seen the Xayah Rakan play it both in the LPL NA as well, using that champion. But now LGD, as they're scrolling through Soraka? I don't know.
Yes, that's the champion, Dom.
It's actually locked in. That's a Soraka locked in for LGD. All right.
It's a pushing lane. Now, we've seen Soraka, I believe, most recently in the ULCS. He was locked in alongside Karma. It would work also with Yasuo, but the nice thing about Sora is that she has her Q level 1, and she basically just hard shoves a lane. So, yes, she's very easy to gank, and if she wants to hard shove, it means that she's going to be forward. There's an opportunity to gank and punish it. So usually when you have a Soraka, you see a level 1 invade, which with someone like Xin Zhao as well as the Rise, can be a possibility to split the map and create a safe runway for Sora to just hard shove in a lane. You
keep saying Sora, and I just want to keep saying Riku. As Soraka and Yasuo is the champion. Exactly. Lau locked in for LGD in that bottom lane. They did snipe that away, but the Rakan and Xayah combo is taken.
Put the stamp on it. We're going to name it. It's the Kingdom Hearts bot lane, Sora and Yasuo. That's Riku and Sora down there.
Oh, goodness.
On the other side, it's also a lovers duo.
It is.
That was a gay joke on top of it.
Just layers to this.
Like an onion.
Or a parfait. But we're still going to see how LGD settle on the final lock-ins. If that is Rise taken into the mid lane, because right now Yuki is looking at that Yasuo there. Abel taking that Xayah, another marksman for RNG.
And it's not just the marksman, it's also the fact that with a Soraka and a Yasuo, yeah, if you try to go for the hard shove, you're looking across at Xayah and Rakan. You are never going to outshove those two champions when they're together. So RNG saw it, they threw the gauntlet. Not only that, they've got a ton of kill pressure and hard CC down into that lane. So all eyes on PYL and how he's going to survive this lane phase.
Yeah, as the coaches shake hands and make their way backstage, Royal never give up. Looking for their first match win in the home arena in front of the home crowd. You can hear how deafening the roar is whenever the team chants come across. The RNG chants actually not even waiting for the standardized time after you get the team clashes to actually slide in, as they just started chanting previously early on. But now bringing in Abel. Will the chants be any quieter, any less in volume, or will the fans show their pride for the team overall?
Too many big names, too many people to get behind. Karsa on your screen right there, one of the new superstars of our league. Only a split in right now, looking at his second one to chain it together. So yes, Uzi's not here, but those chants are going to be deafening nonetheless.
Oh yeah.
Carried in the championship trophy, so Karsa getting his due diligence.
Oh, absolutely. But already you can see the focus from LGD. Amy loading onto the Rift. You've got the Soraka Rise, likely going to that Rise in that mid lane and seeing that Yasuo Soraka we were talking about as Abel gets to play against the champion that he popularized in the Demacia Cup.
It's FDY on the Rise.
Yeah.
Man, there goes my Kingdom Hearts ball. I was so excited.
It very well could be. You know, we could see Yuki swap down with that Soraka and Rise in the mid lane against Syndra. We'll see. We're loading onto the Rift here because, again, this is Royal Never Give Up versus LGD. We've loaded onto the Rift, and like we said, the chants begin again. Was that a bit of charity from the LGD chants? The RNG fans cheering twice for LGD, just so the third one sounds weak by comparison?
No, Hangzhou are proud. They are proud to have LGD as their team. Don't take that away from them.
Okay, I'm not saying Hangzhou, I'm saying the... All right, anyways, we're 5v5 across the map. We've actually got a 3-stack here.
So I was denied my Kingdom Hearts bot lane, but it makes sense. Yasuo looking across from Syndra. Naturally, the combination there is the wind wall in with the, what is it, Unrelenting? What's her ultimate called? I want to say
Power
balls,
Unleashed,
but
Unleashed
that's
Power?
inappropriate.
All I know is the voice line, unlimited power.
What?
As PYL steps up, that flash gets him out of the grand entrance, but Ignite still goes down. Karsa finds first blood for Royal Never Give Up.
Ah, bad to worse. So PYL dead, doesn't have a flash. It's a Soraka lane. We talked about how Soraka is so vulnerable to ganks, and then First Blood also goes to the Camille with a hard leash on the buff, which means she's springboarded in terms of her tempo through this jungle. There's just a giant target if Karsa wants to reach down there and continue to punish that, which you have a Rakan. He doesn't have Ignite, but he still has Flash. They're going to try to kill Sora over and over and over.
And now, poor PYL giving up that first blood as he makes his way back down into the lane.
It's the sad
Amy,
trot.
Yeah, it's the canter to get back in. As Yuki, like you said, the wind wall versus unleashed power from Xiaohu means that that matchup should be a little bit safer for him.
I liked my name better.
Yes. I'm sure, but the wave is going to push in for Xiaohu very early on as Abel steps up. And again, we've seen that interaction. Rune Prison onto the grand entrance as FDY gets chunked down to 100 health.
And that's the really cool thing, too. So not only, you know, swapping up the champions Yasuo to Rise to get the good mechanical matchup between the Syndra and Yasuo, but between the Rise and the Rakan. When he tries to go in there, grabbing him with the Rune Prison, and really punishing him for playing aggressively. But like we said, there's a giant target on PYL. FDY is also very fragile, trying to pot up, and it looks like it's going to be a dive.
Yeah, Karsa, he was standing on top of a ward, so LGD's bottom lane know that this is unsafe. They instead just back away from the minions, and that Rise Soraka is going to be denied so much gold, so much experience by this. And Amy's only just now making his way out of the fountain to try and head towards that bottom half of the map.
And a reminder, Ming still has Flash, so they have to be so careful about the spacing here as they try to greed for the EXP to not fall too far behind. PYL still level 1, and here we go.
That's it, FDY flashing away from the grand entrance. Like you said, teleport being utilized. It's actually completed. Battle Dance into grand entrance. Fling finds Ming, and he goes back to the fountain.
Well done, Jinnu, and this is why we dedicate a lot of time to talking about Jinnu. If you want to grab a new star on this LGD roster, get behind them before they're the new fad and they climb back to the top. One day, hopefully, LGD fans say. It's Jinnu who you want to get behind. Completes the TP, finds the flash, gets the fling, and gets something back for LGD. That said, he's also then missing so much EXP into the top lane. You can see that Mundo's forced an entire wave up there because he used his TP bot, cannot use it top lane, and has to make the slow trot, or canter if you will, back up to all of those missed minions.
Quite the tragedy. He does have that double dark seal corrupting, as you mentioned, which should give sustain against this Zatai matchup. But now it's Zatai's turn to either choose to affect the map or just keep that Singed busy and open up the rest of the map for Karsa to look for the Syndra stun, gank mid lane, to look for the grand entrance from Ming bottom lane. He didn't even burn his flash down there. He was okay giving that kill away.
And it does mean that Mundo can be far more aggressive in how he wants to take these trades because he does have the TP available. So looking back at this, the nice thing is that Jinnu also got the kill. So it would would be even worse if he only got an assist, maintains him a little bit in this lane, but like I was saying, with access to both the flash as well as the TP on Zatai, Mundo versus Singed, I mean, not terrible, but Mundo can play more aggressive, knowing that he has the TP in the back pocket to just reset the lane pressure. But if Camille also gets involved, again, there was a target on Soraka, there's now also a target on Singe. Punish him not having the teleport.
We'll keep our eye on Karsa for that, as Jinu's actually roaming towards the mid lane. And I do apologize about that outplay. Ming was unable to flash because the fling put him into the grounding, into that glue on the ground, so he was unable to escape because he didn't react to the flash fling in time from Jinu. So a good play from Jinu, nets himself that kill, and even the roam towards the mid lane to try and put some pressure onto Xiao.
One of my favorite interactions is, especially because we have a Camille in this game, and this actually happened in the OPL, a Camille went to use the wall jump.
Hook shot,
yeah, it's Singe, knowing that it was coming immediately through the sticky stuff on top of him, and then stop the Camille because she wanted to land on him and then immediately bounce off the wall and look for the stun.
Yeah.
It was quite cute.
The grounding mechanic.
So we'll keep our eyes on how many times these champions overlap and if he's ever able to catch Camille in one of those windows.
Well, now we see Karsa looking for a gank bottom with Xiaohu. Yuki's still holding on to that mid lane, but Amy is already on the bottom half of the map. A ward has been placed, but again, the backing up from LGD's bottom lane signifies that this brush is warded.
And it's because of good vision, and we normally don't ever get to say that about LGD. So I like the spidey senses that have come out of LGD so far, recognizing that the dive was a potential, getting Jinu down there with the TP. Already, LG on a much better foot in game number 2 than game number 1 in terms of just reading the map and cross-communicating.
It's setting up for Jinu to do some work. We're keeping Yuki, even in CS, in that mid lane, as Karsa now looking to contest Amy's Krugs over here. As Amy is trying to clear them out, still, Karsa's just waiting for the opportunity. Hops over the wall. He's got Smite, level 4. Amy gets it and hookshot right back over. But look at that. The bottom lane is pulled again as Xiaohu might be ganked here. Yuki looking for the dash, but is denied by Scatter the Weak.
They're actually sacrificing a lot for Karsa to try to get Ming and Abel ahead, but here's a skirmish.
Oh, there's the silence onto Ming. Andy's rooted. They chase him down, tries to battle dance away, but battle dances and dies instead as Abel flashes back, unable to protect his carry. But Zatai teleported in. He's level 6, doesn't have sadism, as the wave is being cleared out. Karsa forces the flash. The target is FDY, but he's snared under the turret. Karsa goes down as they trade 1-for-1, a stun. The Unleashed Power does not find the kill, though.
This is actually a very poor read from RNG. Again, they are investing so much to try to snowball their bot lane ahead to continue to punish this rise in Soraka, and it's biting them in the ass for how hard they're overreaching for this. Karsa has spent so much time trying to steal the Krugs. Amy gets it anyway. Amy has rightfully been very defensive. It's now pulled Zatai with the TP, and multiple people have died under tower. This has not been a worth investment.
Xiaohu just steps up and finishes off that kill with the Unleashed Power, as we saw in that replay, and then it's the easy turnaround to walk away. And now RNG, they were up 1,000 gold just through the passive laning phase. It's dead even on 12,000 to 12,000 as we get towards that 8-minute mark.
The one bright spot is that if you check in the itemization in terms of the bot laner, so it's a tier from Rise, of course, and then the BF sword as well as a very low tower. So RNG may be able to break the lane phase and then snowball from there, but if you're LGD, your TP is about to be back up, I would actually just play defensively. You know what RNG want. They want to force that bot lane tower down. Can you continue to bleed them out from that, knowing what their next move's going to be?
We'll see if LGD can respond, as they'll have to see this play coming still. Constant presence from RNG on this bottom side of the map. Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite present?
Socks, usually.
I was going to say the now is the best present of all.
Live with Rusty and Fish, and I swear they're stealing my socks. I bought like 15 pairs the other day. Nothing.
That is
I'm going to buy pink ones next time. And
all right. See if those feet ever appear on broadcast. The pink ankles as they kick their feet up onto the desk. But Amy's now taking the blue buff over here. We're getting towards that 10-minute mark. Karsa's still hanging out on the bottom half of the map with Xiaohu. They are threatening FDY and PYL so darn much. And it's working. They've effectively shut down FDY, but Yuki is actually up in CS over Xiaohu. And Jinu's got that kill and that teleport you mentioned. Again,
it's because investing so much, Xiaohu being pulled from the mid lane, and really the benefactor from LGD has been Amy. So yeah, if you look at the bot lane isolated, 41 to 82 CS, you're like, RNG, you're smashing them. But then if you look at Xin Zhao, he's sitting 2-0-1 right now. And for a long time, he had the level advantage over Karsa. Now Karsa has caught up, but for a while there, Xin Zhao was sitting a full level ahead. So Amy having the right read. He sets up the defensive vision so they can always catch Xiaohu trying to go behind the Silk Road there, behind the Dragon Pit, and just defensively playing around his bot lane.
And that's what we see from Amy right now. He doesn't have Flash, but RNG with the push bottom and mid, collapse on the Mountain Dragon to take the next best thing, if not that bottom tier 1 turret. As it's finished off, and Amy continues to track around towards that bottom side. But the next dragon is an Infernal, even more incentive to control this bottom half of the map, and now a window of opportunity for LGD to play around down here, now that they know RNG will be looking for that next best thing, or sorry, the next thing with that bottom tier 1.
The scary thing will be this next reset of the jungle though. So Karsa back, will clear out top side, then it's that big window of playing around bot side. Karsa doesn't have any more camps to take. In fact, he's actually just going to walk it straight down mid, not even going to go for the Krug camp. And you can already see that Xiaohu has started to unlock himself from the mid lane. We talked about how the next big play is going to be this bottom tower. Within the next 3 minutes, that's what RNG are going to do.
Quick battle dance out of Ming to escape the Celestial Field from
mid lane.
PYL, but Xiaohu still holding on to it. It's going to be a 2v2 actually, as Yuki goes in along with Jinu. Stopwatch activated as Karsa's dueling Yuki and Xiaohu's dueling Jinu, but who is winning what? As Amy finds the first kill onto Karsa, Xiaohu flashes away and escapes with his life.
And LGD hit first. They do not let RNG continue to dictate the tempo and pace of this game. They say, okay, they're clearing out the vision. They have a runway through that bot lane. Let's just throw everything mid and see what we can get going for ourselves.
Now opening up a bit of a window for LGD. They were looking to react to the play bottom. Instead, they react to the play mid.
A lot of on the way pings. I believe that was for Jinu saying like, no, guys, we're going in. I'm here. I've reset the wave for the top lane, so I'm not going to lose anything here. Make sure that he stands on top of Xiaohu to come out of the stopwatch and give him the 2-for-1 special.
And there we see the wish from Soraka to deny the kill onto Yuki. Karsa unable to find that one. He's just taking hits from this ukulele.
And what it's done is it's delayed kind of the momentum that RNG had built up, because now that's Syndra without her ultimate, without Flash, doesn't have the exhaust, and so suddenly your ability to unlock Syndra automatically and walk her down bottom is gone. But with Ryze and Soraka actually preemptive the lane swap, they still recognize that RNG are going to try to funnel the resources down here and are trying to disrupt RNG's tempo even further. They got the mid lane gank, and now they want to try to catch top lane off guard.
Amy's walking up. Jinu lands the slow, plus a Realm Warp, but Tatai walks away from the fling. Now that's 3 members top, and the tier 1's already taken a lot of damage.
Yeah, so now that they've revealed themselves, Karsa's going to walk bottom. RNG are going to push down the tower, and it's going to try to be a 1-for-1 trade with advantage to LGD, and they also have access over the Rift Herald. So very smart play from LGD means that they're actually going to get an advantage in terms of just objectives trade and control.
Already the tier 1 has been taken, the wave being pushed all the way up to the tier 2. Early sadism from Zatai to make sure he's topped up as that wave crashes, and he tries to clear out these minions. Xiaohu is keeping Yuki busy in the mid lane while the bottom tier 1 was already taken.
They're confused. They don't know what to go over. LGD spent way too many seconds, about like 10 to 15 seconds more than they needed to, actually shoving the wave in, and there was a possibility that RNG were looking to reflexively gank into the mid lane. Like, it's so cool, this tug of war in terms of like these split-second reactions of how the teams are reading each other. So LG eventually figured it out, disappeared from the match, which then dissuaded RNG from ganking mid lane because they couldn't see if LG were walking down towards the mid. So everything evens out in the end, but LGD just 5 more seconds in vision on top side, and that could have been a dead Yasuo and a mid lane tower for a swing back to RNG.
Just like that, LGD find themselves with the advantage. They take that first brick and they take the Rift Herald. They're still down about 200 gold, massive 60 CS advantage for Abel. But elsewhere, it's a 16 CS lead for Yuki. They've got that Xin Zhao now 3 kills under his belt, and despite Jinu being down about 30 CS, he did go for the Shirelias and will have proxy threat against Zatai. It's never going to be kill threat, but it can keep Zatai busy. Which
is why you can see why the Xayah was there. It's not only the Rakan pick and the Lovers duo. You don't, like, Rakan has a higher priority than Xayah right now in this meta, just due to the 80 carry itemization, but it was because of the early Singe pick. If you know that Singe is going to be the game, you know he's going to blitz into the backline, grab your ADC, you don't have the flash as well as the Xayah ultimate, so a lot more protection there, which makes the pick make that much more sense in the collective game.
And now with RNG looking perhaps for those late game team fights, this is no longer the snowball setup from RNG that we saw in that previous game, the constant pick composition of game 1, as they did bring in Abel and Karsa, and truly their whole playstyle appears to have changed. I could see this composition being run pre-810, pre-8-9 even. Mundo's a bit out of left field, but it still seems to be working for them.
I mean, the thing about this composition was how well it would work in the lane phase. Normally when you have a Syndra with a dueling jungler, the level 6 is just so dominant that you just take Syndra and walk her into the enemy jungle. And then alongside the push priority of Xayah Rakan, but lane phase is ended, so RNG are going to lose some of the viability on their comp until they get those key items out of the way, and LGD understanding that are forcing the game, dropping the Rift Herald.
Exactly. Shelly's about to charge into the tier 1. Oh, so close. Should be able to get the auto attack to finish it off, but it's a hair's breadth. And whoa, Ming, what a knockup. The stun on top of it, plus Wish. Amy is forced to turn and run as LGD are getting separated almost piecemeal. They trade one kill for another as Abel is chasing up, but Zatai follows through with a quick headbutt to lock down their second kill.
And again, the idea from LGD is correct, but the execution, the fact that everyone was grouped up, that Ming saw that split-second window and just annihilated LGD.
Oh. That's the battle dance, and he's got the grand entrance once again, but LGD trying to clear out the minions. Xiaohu holding on to the unleashed power, forces Jinnu back. The tier 1 is taken, and RNG forcibly claim tempo.
Visually on your map, you can see an inch versus a mile, a single hit on that mid lane tower. This could have been LGD. They take the mid lane tower, they just reset, and they're totally fine. They get away with the tempo. But they group up, and Ming immediately punishes it.
Reaction.
Just destroy them in this team fight. So much AoE, even through the Soraka ultimate. And then suddenly, RNG's mid lane tower, by the hair of its chin, still there, and then they run it back and kill LGD's tower. And this is the thing, it is literally a difference of millimeters.
And that's something that LGD, they were that close to locking it down. But now the Infernal Dragon has spawned. LGD starting to group up around the pit. Zatai has got his teleport up top as Yuki is going to engage this Infernal. Karsa spots it. He's level 9 to Amy's level 10, so smite advantage to LGD. Ming over the wall is spotted, and Yuki gets the last breath. Ming forced to battle dance away, but that does mean last breath is off cooldown. Yuki split from his team. Zatai teleports in, and there's nothing the Yasuo can do. He dies, though the dragon is picked up, and RNG split LGD up once again.
And LGD just trying to salvage the situation, understanding that the reason why they took the Infernal Drake is because they know that RNG just used so many ultimates in that last engagement that they wouldn't have the ability to just engage hard on them and kill them and crush them for the Infernal. So they take the small window, they try to be like thieves in the night, grab what they can. Amy's like, I'm sorry, you're the sacrificial lamb. I gotta get the Infernal, and then just pieces out towards the bottom side of the map.
Thieves in the night, but one of them left their hand in the door as it closed, and they just had to cut their losses and run.
You come home, the television's gone, but some guy's arm is just hanging on the door.
In the doorway. I guess the trap worked? Kind of?
I lost my TV, but that guy's going to have a bad time.
At least you've got the fingerprints. Again, now we've got that 2v2 in the mid lane. Abel and Xiaohu holding on and catching minions as Jinnu. He's about 50 CS, building up in that bottom lane to keep Zatai busy. But as we get closer to the 20-minute mark, we know how snowbally this meta is. RNG didn't get the chance to snowball off of this last team fight because of their positioning and their minion wave setups, but they're on the hunt for more. You just want to sing throughout the rest of this, or shall we? Oh, wow! He actually survived! FDY, whoa! LGD going to turn. Karsa, who will be remembering whom, Frost, because Karsa gets flung back in and he is dead.
He got it off the wall, looked for the Camille, laid down the sticky grounded stuff, and Camille couldn't do anything, which is like, I guess I just die here.
Yeah. Well, I die, I guess. Ming, what are you doing there, Ming? That's an interesting place to be. Amy's got water walking and a lot of movement speed. Ming going to have to paddle dance to safety. This turret is not a turret. It's a facsimile of a turret.
It's just going to be pushed over.
There it goes.
Stiff breeze.
Who's going to get it, though? Yuki! All right, auto attack before the minion.
I saw FDY looking at that.
He tried to, yeah.
No, this will go on my stat record.
Turrets taken, +1. But now RNG finally forced to give up that ground in the mid lane. This does open up more room for LGD to look for picks, but that's still LGD reacting to RNG's plays. The Infernal Dragon was a good first step in trying to reclaim tempo after that fight. But what can they do next?
I mean, the reality of the situation, though, is that LGD's composition actually thrives on such an open map. You know, as more of these towers fall down, they're the ones with the Rise ultimate, they're the ones with the Singed, And on the other side, you look at RNG's comp, like, it wants to be together, it wants to team fight. Really, their only long-range pick potential are the Rakan, Syndra, as well as Camille. So still need to be quite scary if they're looking across from you front to back. But in terms of like run-down chase potential, if RNG are ever separated and they find a Xin or a Sinjin River, it's a bad time.
It's almost funny that we're seeing LGD playing a 1-3-1 style with Jinu bottom, Yuki up top, Amy, FDY, and PYL in the mid lane, as FDY will get fed over this blue buff. He's a bottom lane player. He's unfamiliar to getting that buff. So you have to forgive his delay to get over there, but we were talking about their communication in this previous game. LGD, not always known for playing side lanes properly.
And then on the other side, you have perfect communication from Ming and Karsa right there, where he's like, stay here so I can get back over the wall. W's over, places down the ward in the bush.
And immediately hop sack.
Yep. Clean.
Yes. Crisp, even.
Never see that in solo queue. My jungler would have left me to die.
Exactly. That would have been much funnier as LGD are trying to defend with this 1-3-1 and almost head-on tackling the communication issues that plagued them in that game 1. They didn't change rosters, they just changed champions coming into this game 2, and it is working out for them so far. But it's still 1,600 gold in favor of RNG, and we're just waiting for that next big spike from RNG to find an opening.
They need to be very careful right now. Karsa's not underneath them, which is why Ming's trying to scout down river, because they recognize that while they want to force this tower, everyone knows that they want to force the tower. So LG are just waiting for Abel and Ming to slip up. And kind of going back to recapping this game, you know, the game plan was pretty clear from the composition that they put together. Camille, Syndra, level 6, your kill pressure is absurd no matter what the matchup is going to be. Unlock that, walk it into the bottom lane. You've got Xayah, Rakan, they should be pressured forward, the tower should be low, but it still wasn't played crisply. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of kills traded, credit to FDY as well as the fact that PYL did play the Soraka, survive through the lane phase for the majority of it on the champion, and got something back for LG to put them in a decent position come mid-game.
It's almost like we're seeing RNG making the same mistake that they made in Spring Split by disrespecting LGD. Because even though they might be one of the worst teams in the LPL, they're still in the LPL as one of the best teams in the world. As Jinu's trying to hold on mid lane, that's actually teleport top from FDY. Yuki with a very early recall to try and defend mid lane. LGD with a very surprise lane swap going on.
They're just playing very defensive right now. They understand that RNG want the top tower, and so you can just see all of LGD's resources as well as pulling the TP to make sure that the incoming wave landed on FDY, picking up all that gold. That they're just red zone defense around it. And again, stalling out the momentum or snowball potential from RNG, which has happened repeatedly over the course of this series.
Now we'll have to see if RNG can break that, and what the scenario is going to be to break this red zone defense from LGD. Is it going to be Karsa looking for the dive? Will it be Ming once again getting the flash battle dance?
I have a feeling it's going to be more resources opening up on the map, not just that very low top tier tower, but the fact that this Cloud Dragon is about to spawn.
Yeah.
So not a mountain, not an infernal, but Baron is up. 3 waves are going to be eventually pushing into LGD, and the Cloud Dragon is now a viable option. So more things for RNG to kind of play around and force LGD out of their defense that they've set up.
That does make it a little scary that the game stalls out, but comparatively you've got Syndra Xayah for scaling compared to a Yasuo Rise.
Mundo is the big thing for me.
And of course Mundo.
We've just seen how unkillable he becomes. The nice thing about Mundo is that with the changes to his just buffs pretty much across the board, especially on his ultimate, is that he kind of gets a free Warmogs in a sense of just how his kit plays out.
Yeah.
So he's almost more cost efficient than majority of other tanks because he gets to build, you know, sometimes the Sunfire. In this case, it was the Banner of Command. He's got the Spirit Visage for how well it works with his regen naturally.
Now he's got the Sunfire next.
And then he's got like a built-in Warmogs on his own kit personally, so he gets
Yeah.
like an extra free item in a sense.
Massive regeneration. Now I would like to point out LGD actually did just make a rather intelligent play. While the Cloud Dragon was being taken on spawn, LGD got the chance to move in and take control over the Baron pit. So they've got all of the entrances to that river warded right now, and they're starting to deny RNG some vision. They might not be in a position to take it themselves, but they can make RNG at least a little bit more scared. And if RNG are scared, then they're not looking for picks.
It's just understanding that they had the window to do so, and now moving in for the hunt.
Oh, Karsa's the target, gets flung out of midair! Caught and down!
beautifully executed by LGD, and that's now the jungler dead, so we're going to see how brave LGD are feeling. You can see the immediate assist ping go down for RNG. They know that Baron is a threat, that the vision has been cleared, there's no more blue trinkets available. So here we go, they've started it up.
Finding that pick. Zatai is sitting bottom, he's pushing the wave, sitting on that teleport. But here comes the rest of RNG. Look at how quickly that Baron is being shredded. Very low resistances this early on. That's teleport from Zatai to join the fight. It's down to 3,000 health. There's no smite, but again, the Battle Dance quickness as he forces in. And meanwhile, he's trying to get out of there, but Abel in the front takes to the skies as Ming drops. Xiaohu looks for some damage. Stopwatch is traded. Abel kiting it out as best he can, but he's got no protection without Ming. He's able to get a kill in return, a double actually, but it's not enough. Zatai chasing down PYL. Oh, man. You hate to see this happen. He's got no flash and goes down to the headbutt. Oh, the cleaver over the wall doesn't deny recall, but LGD still walk away with the Baron and a handful of kills.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, PYL. 2-min enter, and it was Mundo who laughed. But like you said, they got multiple Barons out, and that's the important thing, because then they can apply it across multiple lanes. So the only play for RNG here is that they can try to out-damage it via the Syndra burst, especially if they can get the lockdown on Xin Zhao, or they just have to murder everyone. Now, I understood that they had to commit to this. LGD do a good job, A, securing the Baron, but then trying to punish RNG by getting multiple Barons out, as well as trying to kill everyone.
Good communication from RNG to focus down those priority targets. Zatai, he wants to play Mundo Ball, but PYL, he's picked the wrong champion for Mundo Ball.
I love how Amy just saw it. He just walked away. He's like,
there's nothing
I'm sorry.
I can do. Yeah.
I've done what I came to.
Once again, you come home. Now the TV's gone. Now the stereo's gone. There's another hand there. It's the same fingerprints.
He's like the Black Knight from Monty Python. It's a flesh wound.
How did he get the stereo out if he lost both of his arms and he's
strapped to his back?
With one arm?
Yep.
Okay. 26 minutes.
He's got legs. He can lift.
Those are some dexterous toes.
You see her legs? She's got horse feet.
You're exactly right. Oh, man. We just have to hope that it's not Camille carrying that away, because that is even more exciting.
She's not actually a unicorn. She's just a mule. Load it up, boys.
All right. 26 minutes into the game, LGD have got the Baron on 2 members. Will they be able to do anything with this? They've broken down the 2 outer turrets. Yuki is pushing bottom, but he does not have Baron.
I mean, of course, the answer is yes. The real question is to what extent can they do with it? Because the bottom outer tower is still live, it's the most free objective on the map right now. But, you know, what more do they get? Can they transfer this into a possible inhib take? Can they, you know, even just crack or chip away at an inhib tower? And a lot of that relies on Yasuo. Yasuo at this point, sorry, I had to locate him on my scoreboard.
Not in the marksman position.
I was going to say he's doing much better in terms of his itemization, but now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, still got a way to go.
This is a dangerous spot to be.
Is it?
They spot out Jinnu, and they immediately engage onto him. I was wrong. It's the right spot to be. They find the kill as they scare LGD back. PYL, not again. He's running away, but there is no escape. The mule falls. Realm Warp to safety by FDY as he leaves his carries to die.
So the reason why it's about Yasuo is because, again, RNG's composition wants to fight as 5. The power that LGD have is they got multiple Barons out, and the ability to perhaps play a side lane and split up this composition, as the crowd can taste it.
Oh yeah, FDY is the only one defending with this. He's got Baron on those minions, but it's the recall only now started by FDY. The inhibitor is being taken. Xiaohu is pushing up top. And RNG, once again, they come home. Their stereo is gone. Their TV is gone. This time the car's not in the driveway, but there's a foot in the garage. More and more body parts are being left behind as LGD. They're trying to make these plays happen, but they just keep getting caught out by RNG.
And just a great read. Again, it's Ming. He should get back-to-back MVPs if RNG walk away with a clean 2-0, but a lot of games still left to play, and LGD, they need to learn from this mistake. You cannot group up against this composition. Use your Ryze, use your Xin Zhao, and use your Yasuo. Play those side lanes, get defensive vision set up, and stay away from RNG, because they're terrifying.
Oh yeah. 5,000 gold ahead, make that 5.5. As we're at 2.5 items on Xiaohu. Abel's at 3 with a QSS. Triforce finished off for Karsa, and that Mundo is massive.
I just want to see the negative Baron power play. I just see how much gold was lost.
I would like to point out, we stopped doing Baron power plays here in the LPL for a very specific reason.
Was it LGD?
It was negative power plays. No, I don't know if that's actually the reason, but now we're pushing down to that bottom tier 2. The wave is prepped by RNG. Sorry, The tier 2's already been taken. It's the top tier 2 is the last one that's standing. Instead, they're just controlling the river so that they can take Mountain Dragon, their second, and set up to siege the inhibitors here.
Like he said, funneling all of the gold, setting up to siege the inhib, because they have someone like Syndra, it's basically going to be playing Yahtzee. She's going to continuously throw out her stuns, see what she gets, and if she gets something good, Rakan's flying in.
She ever gets 7s, and that's it. RNG now, just controlling that wave. 4 members of LGD stepping up, but even 4 members don't scare the Mundo, but Ming finds the engage and knockup. Redemption tries to reset the fight, and it does.
A little bit overzealous right there. Good win wall to just make sure that there was no chance of follow-up. Likewise, again, I said you play Yahtzee with Syndra. Xiaohu, for some reason, was sitting in the bush waiting for someone to look for a flank from LGD.
That was Snake Eyes.
Yep, not great. Again, momentum stall, though. It's kind of the big key moment. So what we're seeing a lot is the right idea, failed execution from both teams, LGD and RNG in this case. You know that they want to siege on that inhib tower, that they had the pressure points in all the lanes to do so, but just the key difference of, you know, Syndra is standing looking for LG to look for a flank and seeing if she could just catch someone and immediately pop them, versus being next to the Rakan, and then the miscommunication of, I'm flying anyway, I'm going to use my flash, and I'm not going to get anything. And then immediately, okay, we've lost our quickness, we've lost our flash, we need to reset, and this gives LGD time to breathe.
It also gives LGD time to get some vision on the map. Now that they do have this space to breathe, 60 seconds on the Baron respawn. We saw how spicy that last one was, and Elder is up in 4 minutes now, as Abel is starting to try and contest this vision. 3 items finished for Xiaohu. Still only 3 items in the QSS for Abel. Ming, with that Zeke's convergence, can set up for his team.
Jinnu's very scary at this point of the game. You can check out his items. He's got his Deadman plates, his Rylai's, as well as his Reverie. So if he gets you, you're not getting away from him.
That said, there's still plenty of opportunity. We've got Flash.
I don't know why I said if.
For Abel.
He will get
when
you.
He gets you, yeah. Uh-oh, Zatai looking to walk up for the flank.
Who's
he steps
flanking
up.
who?
Manages to get the slow onto Amy. Karsa charges up. There goes the grand entrance quickness. Karsa in the back line. They've assassinated BYL. Amy tries to kill Abel, but is forced to retreat. Zatai with the headbutt. Trades it down. Realm Warp gets Yuki and Jinnu to safety, but how safe will they be for long? As it's still 3 members of RNG to the 3 of LGD.
A straight up hit and run from LGD right there.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Jinnu. He's found him now. Yuki. What are you going to do? It's a Mundo, and they do not have grievous wounds. FDY will try to follow up. Sadism is on cooldown, though. And now we know Yuki is trying to retreat. A quick headbutt to finish off the turret. Redemption from the grave by PYL as Abel steps up. QSS. Oh, biting off a bit too much more than he could chew.
But still holding his flash as well as having the ultimate available. So I like the bloodthirstiness. This is what we expect from such a young talent like Abel to have that kill threat. Looking back at this, like I said, it was a bit of a hit and run. LGD cut their losses as soon as they decided they didn't want to mess with the Mundo. Jinnu goes one way, the Ryze ultimate, I guess, pieces out everyone but Ryze. He's like, I'm too slow for this, boys.
Now 32 minutes into the game, Elder Dragon and Baron. Sorry, Baron has spawned. Elder Dragon is coming up. And though we saw FDY able to escape from that last fight, he's sitting at 3 items now with a needlessly large rod, starting to get bigger, starting to do some damage. And these fights are becoming more and more volatile. The snowball meta is working out for RNG. They're 6,000 gold ahead, but these fights are looking real dicey.
And we also now need to kind of talk about late game scaling potential. Yeah. And again, the champion that I said that everyone really should be afraid of is the Mundo. A part of why we didn't think Mundo might creep into the meta is because of the availability of things like Grievous Wounds, which is why it was kind of like, if Mundo comes back, his numbers are just ridiculous. But there's also now not any sort of Grievous Wounds. A lot less people building it. It doesn't itemize as cleanly as it used to. There's just a Morellos right now, so it's very hard for anyone to deal with this champion who got a big buff, and now less access to the item to try to slow him down. RNG
might be looking for a pick here. Recall started out from Zatai. He just used that banner up top. And he has teleport. A Phantom Dancer. That's the really deep teleport. That's going to be spotted out. LGD, they're actually just trying to run down through that mid lane. Baron started out by RNG.
They don't know that Mundo's under them. Now they do.
Now they see that Zatai. Let's see if that Phantom Dancer provides enough attack speed to allow him to chase it down. Good slow from Jinnu as he gets tagged. The Dark Sphere not able to find a stun.
of blundered that. And by they, I mean RNG. Zatai giving away his position. He's now just going to try to zone and force the Baron because they don't really have anything on the map. There's no like big pressure point.
There's Redemption for a little bit of damage. Trying to top up. Zatai still soaking so much. Baron Corruption is going to stack up at this point. Amy uses the Crescent Slash, decides not to step away.
They stopped hitting the Baron.
The Baron down to 1600. Amy goes in, but Baron picked up by RNG. Amy split from his team, caught in the ultimatum, goes down. And LGD back away.
So well done from RNG. As soon as they see that Amy pops his ultimate, they just wait. They stop hitting the Baron, wait for it to fall off. Then they immediately go back to the Baron. Karsa secures it. If he's in the pit, he is going to get it. But the reason why RNG forced that is because they didn't really have anything building up on that. Eventually, it's so long, 30, 45 seconds that we're sitting there, that the creep wave comes in. They now then escort it in with the Baron for another inhib. But RNG reading the map, recognizing that they had to force the Baron, otherwise LGD had the superior positioning towards the mid lane, and executes so beautifully.
Ming has got his Flash Grand Entrance at the ready, plus quickness, but decides not to push with his team here. They need to wait for the minion waves, and now pings are going down onto the Elder Dragon.
And the issue is that a massive wave is coming into LGD's top side of the base. Now, it's not going to take a Nexus Tower or anything like that, but it is going to give vision of Xin Zhao rushing from spawn, which means that there's no smite available. RNG are going to clean up the Baron, 2 inhibs, as well as the Elder, look for a full reset, and looking for the kill shot.
And we could be seeing RNG finally learning their lesson against LGD in Game 2, maybe taking it a little casual in that early game, trying to play a little bit more relaxed, giving an opening for LGD to snowball, but now they've cleaned up all of those mistakes. They're playing it smart and not giving any more chances.
I mean, I understand that there was some spicy conversation back and forth, especially from that interview from Xiao, who's saying that he wanted to serve LGD when they faced them, but ultimately, I don't think that this was just like a casual mistake from RNG. I actually think you're starting to see, some of those intangibles of not having Uzi versus Abel, and not just in the mechanical difference, but in that veteran shot calling status.
The emotional bastion in these fights, which is only something we can really say about Uzi recently.
Even in the coordination of the lane phase. Again, we talked over and over about how RNG's composition really could have excelled in the lane phase and kind of snowballed through the jungle from bottom lane, but didn't, just some growing pains or mistakes there with communicating with Abel and making sure the dives were cleaner than they needed to be. So it slowed down RNG a little bit, but ultimately we're still now looking at a 10k gold difference between the teams, and RNG looking to close this one out 2-0.
Yeah, this could be the final siege of the game. RNG using double cannon to break down the inhibitor turret. LGD need to draw the line somewhere. They've got super minions coming in from both top and mid, plus Karsa within hookshot range. Ming looks for it, flash battle dance, misses Jinnu, caught by the snare, forced to cleanse and back away. Zatai in the front, but the inhib is taken. Karsa goes in, he's targeting Amy on the side, but Jinnu is locked inside of the pit. Karsa slows it down with a stopwatch. There goes a wish, but it's LGD's last wish as the minions come slamming in. There's a dive into the back line from Yuki. His GA gets popped though as the whole team rushes in to protect Abel, and they finish off that kill at the end. The minions close it out, and RNG 2-0 over LGD.
And unfortunately, just too little too late for LGD to finally make their stand. They got the itemization, they felt that they could look for the team fight. Jinnu was massive, but the base was destroyed. They had too many pressure points to deal with, and just another unfortunate loss. Expected, but you can see it on Jinnu's face. They're scrambling. They blew up the roster, they put it back together, they grabbed a different coaching staff. LGD are trying to right this ship, but it's been sinking for 3 years.
It's been sinking for a long time, and while they might have their fingers in a few of the holes, it's just not enough to stem the tide as RNG with their handshakes make their way to the center of the stage. Abel gets to take his first bow in front of the RNG home crowd, in front of Beijing. In fact, Abel gets to bow before Uzi bows before his own home fans in this new arena.
And this is what people wanted from the Beijing Palace. They want the RNG team, their logo everywhere, to step forward to see their fans and give them the encore from MSI and just clean sweep through summer. Now, Rusty said it on the analyst desk. I 100% agree. Normally you see RNG start to heat up, pick up closer towards the end of the split, where the LPL, largest region, play more games than anyone else. It's a very long, grueling schedule, so it makes sense to rest your players, not come out of the gate full force, but RNG already showing a very terrifying performance just in series number 2, week number 2.
And this certainly bodes well for some of the teams that we're sending towards Rift Rivals. RNG, EDG, Rogue Warriors. I mean, these teams are coming in absolutely swinging. Edward Gaming showing that they are still trying to prove everyone wrong with results. Royal never give up, thinking they might have stumbled in their first set against Jingdong, but against LGD, it goes exactly as expected from the best team in the world.
And we effectively have 3 kingdoms right now. We have RNG, our current kings, Edward Gaming, our former kings, and then the crowd champion favorites, Invictus Gaming, still trying to grab hold and lift that trophy, something that they had really yet to do in the LPL. So it's just a question of who will rise first as we race towards Worlds.
Yeah, and of course with how crazy this meta is shaking things up, there's lots of opportunities to see this get upset, but still somehow throughout all of the chaos of the patches, of the new champions, of the Banner of Command meta, we're still seeing the same names at the top of the standings. Royal Never Give Up, Edward Gaming, IG, and Rogue Warriors, the teams that we are sending to Rift Rivals, proving that maybe they've got more than just this one strong meta for them. Maybe they've got what it takes to prove why they're not just the best in the world right now with RNG, but the best in the greater Asia region by taking Rift Rivals.
It's the strength of the organizations themselves as well as the veterans, established players, people like Rookie, like SMLZ, like Uzi and Mako and Clearlove also making his re-emergence back into the LPL scene.
Yeah, it certainly is a great performance from them. Now it's time for our analysts to break down that RNG 2-0 win.
Thank you so much, guys. Great cast on the day. And we're actually going to take a look at this draft first off to really get into this one. So, Rusty, if we're looking at like the ADC specifically, we actually drafted an Abel. And while he wasn't blocked visually, I feel like he was blocked somewhat in his champion pool because he actually didn't go towards what he really made in the LPL. He was the guy who would go towards the Bruises. He picked up the Yasuo, and everything stemmed from there. So I'm like, where is it? Why are we going back to ADC? Put Uzi back in.
In this particular instance, the Rakan was an early rotation from Ming. So they go towards the Xayah, of course, it's just really good in the duo still. Picking up that duo lane is still viable, and it's really the only circumstances in which Xayah is continued to be picked. And it kind of transcends that even further. They've decided to play a game like Uzi is on the roster, and they're just going to go hard in bottom lane. They're going to put everything into the bottom lane and try and snowball it. So the Xayah Rakan, very much a cognizant pick. The Syndra going with that as well, trying to perhaps bridge through the mid game. I assumed it would be to assassinate the Soraka, but you can't get backline access when the Singed gets a million early kills and Xin Zhao's running at your face. So really, the Syndra's just to push everyone back and give more space to the Xayah to continue to get damage output.
So for what you're saying, Rusty, it doesn't seem like you're entirely sold in this composition. Is that a fair statement to make?
That's just so standard. And it's not like normal standard. It's the kind of League of Legends that you don't expect to see locked in anymore, traditionally, right now in this season. So I'm not against the composition. If I was to pick something, I'm a bit apprehensive towards the Syndra in the middle lane. But I feel like, you know, with the duo, it's just a Yasuo in the middle lane, but when you've got a Camille and a Syndra able to gank that one, you would expect good things from that. And then you've got winning lanes, so like, I get it. I just didn't expect it.
But Rusty, you can see where I'm leading you, which is against a better team in the LPL, against some of the heavy innovators. You know, you think of like Snake, for example. Would this RNG win?
It could absolutely win, yeah. This particular RNG is super slow though, like, and I will actually compare it to the LCK in the way that they want it to be slow, more methodical, get the smaller advantages, and then just be incredible individual players and make the difference in the end, right? And I think against LGD, it's an easy win. Against the better team, perhaps the best team in the LPL, let's say they're playing against EDG in the final again, would that style work? Yeah, probably.
And also, the meta is going to evolve from now to then anyway, so it's difficult also to tell if this is the same meta we're going to be playing in 8 weeks' time from now when we're going into playoffs. That's fair. Let's actually move into the game then, because it was really just about the execution out from RNG, and to be honest, isn't it always, when you look at a team like this with the sheer mechanical talent they have on their side. So we're actually going to start this one off with the mid lane replay.
And it all starts with Ming. We saw yesterday Mako from EDG with some incredible performances on that Rakan, and now Ming gets his chance in the spotlight and shows up to play. And of course, what Ming starts, you got to see Zatai finish throughout most of those fights. Completely unkillable on the Mundo with how tanky he was.
Yeah, same as game one, honestly. But this time, as you said, Ming got even more of a spotlight. And last game was his 100th win. This was 101st. So, you know, good job, Ming, for that one. But really, just on point every single time, leading the charge into the Baron pit, into the mid lane.
Yeah, continuing to make big plays. And what's interesting here is that the Yasuo was picked from LGD first. We also saw Mako playing the Rakan into a Yasuo himself, but this time around, of course, they go towards the Zarya. And for me, Yasuo Rakan is just such a sick combo. I'm surprised they didn't go for it. At the end of the day, you can see how much work he does, that you don't need the Yasuo. You've got the Zarya Rakan, the Lovers duo instead. And you can make some big plays.
Yeah, and a Mundo thrown in there for good measure.
Yes.
Always a good thing in this current meta. Then turning our attention to LGD then. It's obviously this was a chance for them to take a win against RNG. Clearly they've woken up since yesterday against JD Gaming, but what did LGD rather need to do in this game that they weren't able to?
I will start by saying that LGD did a lot of things right earlier on in the game, specifically Amy and Jinu looking fantastic. But once they get the leads, they're not sure how to finish those leads off. Like Amy in particular is getting kills. Jinu's teleporting well towards other sides of the map, and there was a point in the game where you're looking at this Mundo, you're wondering when is he ever going to exist with his team. The one teleport they had was a really poor decision on that teleport, resulted in a trade, and ultimately you're looking at LGD and saying this is perfect. They've got themselves a lead. They're actually set to succeed.
But it didn't actually work out like that in the end. Of course, we just saw video evidence of why it didn't work out in the end, and it was the execution in those team fights to get later and later into the game.
Absolutely, and of course another engage from Ming. Every time you see RNG fight, you'll see Ming going forwards first, pressing the attack towards them. And then, of course, the Tai still being indomitable, forcing Rise ultimates to get the heck out of there. And this is not surprising. It's almost demanded of him with how well Ming was playing.
Back-to-back MVPs for Ming today. In fact, his first 2 MVPs of the split, so congratulations to him. And he absolutely deserves it. And, you know, to talk about Ming just for a second, he's absolutely grown into his role. You know, I remember when he first came onto RNG and it's like, oh boy, he really has big shoes to fill. Then he's also got to turn into a shot caller, and he's got to do that next to someone like Uzi, who has historically dominated his support. So it's like, all right, Ming, what are you made of? And we've seen here today, and also internationally, quite a lot, apparently.
And this is a beautiful thing to me, to really just take stock of Ming individually. When you first saw him at 2017 Worlds, the Ardent Sensor meta, you were like, this guy is real good, you know, like underappreciated, but barely dies and does so much work for Uzi. You know, that's fantastic, right? He's a good support, finally getting the respect that he deserves. But then Rakan becomes meta. Uzi finally learns how to play Zarya, and you get to see the other side of Ming, the side you very rarely get to witness. And my God, is it a pleasure to watch.
It's also the fact that he really does get his time to shine in this current meta. When you have the support role, which has now turned into very much a carry role in the bottom lane, he can do all these things. He can do it on Rakan. I'm sure he can do it on different champions as well that are now coming into the bot lane support place. I actually do wonder if you actually just shoved Ming in a solo lane, whether he'd actually do also fine against the majority of players in this league.
I don't want to ever say that, though. He's too good at supporting people to be thrown into a solo lane. Him individually, he's got mechanics, but that's a bridge too far, I would say, for any kind of assumptions here. They're not Snake.
Isn't the best way to support just to kill everybody first before they can harm your team? Is that not a true statement, Rusty?
That is a way to play League of Legends, Pulse, but everyone has their own mantras, and I have a feeling that Uzi
I know why you're
wouldn't be
backing
a
away from
fan
this one.
of
You're the
that.
guy who plays Talia in the support role.
Yeah,
so
I'm undefeated in ranked, man.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings and how the week 2 has gone so far. Of course, we've only had 2 series. But we've had definitely a couple changes in terms of the standings. Notably, Suning Gaming now taking first position in the Eastern Conference. Of course, Invictus Gaming will be playing later this week to try and reclaim that one. And on the opposite side, with the Western Conference, RW is still at the top, with Snake close behind them.
Yeah, definitely. So today we got to see the Eastern Conference. Suning Gaming cementing their place in first is exciting to see. Honestly, watching them play against Invictus Gaming will be an absolute treat with how both teams are playing at the moment. Suning Gaming averaging the highest gold lead in the LPL at 10 minutes as a team. IG is second. So those two going against each other, I have a feeling the early game will decide a lot of it.
And again, on the opposite side of the coin, to talk about LGD once more, 0 and 3, on the opposite of what Suning Gaming have been able to do. While LGD has actually managed to pick up games, not series, to note that, it does seem like they're going in a good direction, but I'm not sure if that's fast enough from what we've seen, not only today, but in the other games, which I'd say were more even in terms of the matchups.
Yeah, and I know you guys at home, there's plenty of LGD fans that come out to watch these games today, and let me tell you something, I feel the pain watching LGD play. They take games from the best teams, they lose to the worst teams, they make no sense, and there is no consistency there. But what we do know is that they're changing coaching staff, they're trying to get better as a team, and they are looking to improve overall. However, for the moment, they get to take their rightful place at the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, unfortunate, but we'll see if they can recover a couple of weeks from now. Reminder, we won't be live tomorrow. However, the Mandarin casters will be, so you can catch all of that action on Doyu and Panda. So if you want to do that, go ahead and go over there at the normal time. And it will be starting off with Team WE taking on Fun plus Phoenix. Definitely a game I want to be watching for certain. And Edward Gaming will end the day with OMG, who seem to be on an upward trajectory as well. So both of those games not to miss.
Both games are very interesting to dissect what really is going to happen. Can WE bounce back after their loss to Snake? A couple of unfortunate errors occurred there, and we saw some innovation. And the other one is OMG. Can they continue on that upward trajectory you mentioned? There's been some really good moments.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you look at Icon, and sometimes he has hero moments, man. And we saw that. I specifically think about that Cassio ultimate around the Baron pit. Absolutely disgusting. So if he's able to continue doing so in a meta where he can actually carry from mid lane, there's a lot of potential for OMG actually to shoot up the rankings.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of that comes down to their new jungler. And if they're able to have hero moments through their mid laner, they've changed the jungler to Mountain, there's a real chance that as the split progresses, they continue to get better. And I was surprised to see them as good as they were in week 1.
For sure. Now, we won't be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, as we just mentioned, and then Thursday's a break, but then after that, we will be back for the remainder of week 2 on Friday. We will be broadcasting that through Sunday as well. So let's look at our Friday matches. We Rogue Warriors taking on Snake. Of course, Rogue Warriors will be with us. Absolutely will be a banger, but that will be the series to watch for certain. Rogue Warriors going to be appearing in Rift Rivals just a couple weeks from now, and we'll end that day with WE once again, who will be playing tomorrow against OMG, who are also playing tomorrow.
So now all of your homework for those of you at home is to watch the games on Tuesday and Wednesday, get the WE game and the OMG set in there as well, and try and gauge how good they're going to be when they play each other on Friday, of course, when we broadcast that.
Yeah, we'll get to see how they are shaping up, because WE, I will definitely say that they have to get their act together, because I know pretty much unanimously this team tipped WE to be winning pretty much every game that they've played so far, and now I don't know. Yeah, whoops. I'm not sure if to go the opposite direction. So I know my tips are done for week 2, but I'm not sure about week 3, Risty. I'm not sure about you.
I may be last in the tipping competition because I had needless faith in Team WE, so I might be regretting that one very deeply if an 8-ball that randomly generates its predictions is beating me.
Fair. I mean, Fish came over earlier and said you just evened it up with the 8-ball, so congratulations, Rusty, for that one. But that's going to do it for today. So thanks so much for watching on behalf of myself, Rusty, everyone on the English broadcast team. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on Friday.